Hi everybody! Today I'd like to talk to you about one of my original compositions, Inspiración Sencillo, música inspirado por Leo Brouwer. Leo Brouwer is a Cuban composer, and I was first introduced to his music a long time ago, really, when I was in the university, so probably in about 2003 or 2004. This composition is interesting for me because it was a long time in the making. I was in a guitar master class, and from time to time other students would come in and they would play these etudes, these estudios by Leo Brouwer, and I always thought that it was really cool music, but it was one of those, Leo Brouwer was one of those composers that I would get to someday when I had time, because at the university there was a set of standard repertoire that you had to be able to play in order to complete the program, and just never quite had time to take on Leo Brouwer. Leo Brouwer has a set of etudes, estudios, that teach all kinds of interesting techniques. In my opinion, some of his more famous ones are going to be Estudio number 5 and Estudio number 16. The number 5 has these sort of dissonant chords. To me, it kind of reminds me of sort of rolling waves on the ocean, and when the waves crash into something, it's a really cool piece. And number 16 has these sort of ornamented like little runs, and they're very pretty, and it's a very cool piece too. But he's got a wide variety of topics and studies that he does in these cool set of pieces that he's written. This particular piece is inspired by etude number 6, and when I was listening to it and learning that piece, I kind of had the impression of flowing water, like a waterfall, because it's this sort of series of right hand movements that are kind of the same throughout the piece, with an ever-changing set of chord progression. And to me, I was particularly struck by the chord progression towards the end of the piece. I just thought that was really cool. And in fact, when I was learning that piece, I started practicing it with a completely different fingering pattern that I made up, and I was inspired. So I took this section of this chord progression that I got from the Leo Brouwer etude, and mixed it with some of my own ideas, and came up with what I think is a really wonderful piece. But I said this piece has been in the works for a long time, and that's true, because the other inspiration for this piece came from another one of my original compositions that I wrote many years ago, called En Mis Sueños, or In My Dreams. And this is an interesting composition for 2 reasons. It's got an interesting rhythmic motif, that's a rhythmic pattern that is used throughout the piece, and it's also got some interesting harmony in it that I borrowed from some jazz theory that I learned way back in high school when I was studying jazz guitar. And so the interesting thing is we've got this C major 7 chord, but it's voiced in such a way that you've got this really dissonant sound right in the middle of the chord. And so what I did is I took that C major 7 chord and I added an A in the bass, and it becomes an A minor 9 chord, and it sounds like this. And so what I did is I took this rhythmic motif, used a variation on that same rhythmic idea in my new composition, Inspiración Sencillo, and I came up with what I think is a really wonderful composition by mixing some of the ideas that I was inspired by Leo Brouwer, mixing some of the ideas that I learned from studying jazz guitar way back in high school, and an interesting rhythmic motif. And the result is this composition that I want to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed this music, and if you do enjoy this music, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much.